We received your message, and we understand.
Today's show host Savannah Guthrie alongside her siblings begging for their mother's release.
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
As of yesterday, sheriff's vehicles now remain at Nancy Guthrie's home.
The department issuing a statement saying their constant presence now is at the request of the Guthrie family. There's this septic tank that was searched this weekend as well. On Sunday afternoon, investigators used a long pole to probe inside. They were focused here for about an hour in the back of Nancy's property. On Saturday night, law enforcement returned to re-walk the terrain around the house using their flashlights in the pitch black dark of night.
Fox's Alicia Acuna in Tucson, where daughter Annie's home was also searched over the weekend. The FBI also analyzing data from neighbors' homes. Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell not talking during a virtual deposition with a House panel from a prison in Texas.
Jeffrey Epstein's associate invoking the Fifth Amendment and not answering questions, frustrating House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer.
She had an opportunity today to answer questions that every American has. Questions that would be very important.
The committee is investigating the late convicted sex trafficker and hope Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony will provide key information. Bill and Hillary Clinton are scheduled to sit for a deposition at the end of the month, with Epstein's accountant scheduled to meet with the committee in March.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz on the Hill. Congress facing a Friday deadline to reach a deal on Homeland Security funding as Democrats push for major changes in immigration enforcement. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon will bring partly sunny skies with a high of 39. Tonight, expect partly cloudy conditions with a low of 35. Tomorrow will feature a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 43. By Wednesday, anticipate partly sunny weather with a high of 37. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Larry Elder is always good with his stats.
You know that Texas has accounted for 25% of all the ICE arrests. 25%. That's thousands and thousands of deportations. No riots, no mob violence, no churches stormed. Minneapolis represents less than 1% of all the ICE arrests. Yet there are protests in the streets.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Quiet down. Here she comes. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Oh,
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's joint arthritis treatment. Knee lubrication placement that's so accurate, it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
The following live program is sponsored by Breakthrough Ideas.
AM 560, The Answer. It's time for breaking news, expert insight, and informed commentary on what's happening in Springfield, Chicago, and beyond. Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic. It's time for The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson.
Can we go back to marching bands to do halftime shows for football games?
I think they're great. Hey, I was in the marching band.
Good morning.
You were probably the cheerleader. I was in the marching band.
I was in the band. Okay. Good morning. All The Real Story with Jeanne Ives and Amy Jacobson. We're here to take your phone calls, 312-642-5600, and discuss the stories of the day. You can watch us on YouTube at Breakthrough Ideas YouTube channel or on AM 560's Facebook page or online at 560theanswer.com. So, do I dare ask, did you watch the All-American Halftime Show or did you watch Bad Bunny?
I watched the All-American Halftime Show. But then I went and rewound the tape so I could watch parts and snippets of the Bad Bunny show because, you know what, I had to know what everybody was going to be talking about. And I'm glad I did, honestly, because I think it's an indictment on the left in terms of wanting to turn this country into... You actually basically destroy American culture. That's what I think.
312-642-5600. Turnkey. Oh, no, that's not our turnkey. We don't have the turnkey. Okay. You could text us or you could call us on that line. So Bad Bunny, his real name is Benito, came out. He made history as the first Spanish language solo artist to headline a halftime show. And he paid tribute to his Puerto Rican roots. They had sugarcane out there. It was...
They had all the, the electrical utility stands up there, too, because, of course, Puerto Rico was without electricity for so long after those things. So they're trying to, pull at the heartstrings of Americans, like, we're part of you. No, okay, fine, great, you are a territory. But you know what? American culture matters, and American football was not created by the Puerto Ricans at all.
Well, and I even asked people in the group that I was watching the game with, can you name one Puerto Rican football player? I mean, that was actually born and bred on the island. And my kids
football to them is soccer.
Yeah. Well, my kids they're Puerto Rican, and when I was watching that, and they came up to a table of men playing dominoes because that's what you see when you go to Puerto Rico. Women getting their nails done. We're hardworking, just like you. I don't think the Bureau of Tourism for Puerto Rico probably did not like that halftime show. I'm just going to go on. When I saw that, I was like, who's going to want to visit Puerto Rico?
Well, you know who did like it, though? There's no doubt. All the Hispanic Waukegan High School students that walked out on Friday, and we're going to get to that story. And that's why actually covering what happened at the halftime is very informative about what's happening at our schools with these Hispanic students led by their teachers and administrators to walk out. They are trying to subvert American historical culture, and they're trying to turn it into something else, just like that Texas Democrat, Jean Wu, who essentially said, look, if all the minorities came together, and we do have that clip. We'll just play it real quick, this clip. Can we hear it?
Which?
It's the Jean Wu one, marginalized.
I always tell people the day the Latino, African-American, Asian, and other communities realize that they are that they share the same oppressor is the day we start winning. Because we are the majority in this country now. We have the ability to take over this country and to do what is needed for everyone and to make things fair. But the problem is our communities are divided. They're completely divided. And I talk about this.
So that's where their end game is there. Amy.
Well, back to the halftime show. I mean, he then handed a 5-year-old kid who just happened to look a lot like Liam Ramos, who was the 5-year-old who was taken. Well, his dad was taken into custody.
His dad left him behind.
Yeah, he was taken into custody in Minneapolis because his dad left him behind. Went to the mom's house. She didn't want him, and the whole social media went nuts. Like Liam Ramos is there. That wasn't him. That was an actor. But everything was political. And Roger Goodell kept saying he's not going to be political at all. He had a football that said, "Together we are America." But they were flying 20 different nations' flags. And it was the Puerto Rican one up front. And then America. This is our 250th anniversary. It should be all American. And that's why I was watching back and forth. I was watching Turning Point USA's All-American Halftime Show and showing people in the room that were upset with Bad Bunny. Like, oh, this is what you could be watching. And he's like, what's that? So I let them know, so we were dual watching both at the same time.
Well, I don't speak a lick of Spanish, but I've heard that, and I think you have the receipts, that the lyrics would have been banned.
Well, Jeannie, I don't want to lose the FCC license here, but according to Apple Music, that set list that he sang one of the songs, which means debauchery in Puerto Rican, translation of the lyrics to the English are so incredibly vile, folks can't repeat them on the air. It describes oral sex, among other things. And during this song, two men were grinding on each other in a scene, which was not appropriate. I don't know.
Well, I saw a lot of crotch grabbing as well. That was on full display.
Yeah, that's called dancing. But there was a couple that got married. A man and a woman, that got married during the performance, and that was actually real. They actually did get married. Lady Gaga was there, Ricky Martin was there, but the whole thing it was so un-American.
But again, this is the culture that the high school students have adopted. This is where the awful, vile rap lyrics, where they feel very comfortable writing it and saying F ice, and they'll use the most terrible language like that, because all of their models, their role models in the music industry do that all the time.
And it's so weird because if you look at Bad Bunny, he wants separation. He wants Puerto Rico to become its own country. While he's living in while he's living in a mansion in Malibu and flies privately. And people in Puerto Rico, they don't want their U.S. passports taken away. Trust me, they need us.
So he lives on stolen land, too?
Yeah, he should give land back with Billie Eilish. 312-642-5600. Let's go to Marty in Naperville. You're on The Real Story. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning. Nice to hear you back on. Real nice to hear. I used to call you all the time in the morning, but and I still call, but anyway. At least yesterday we had a thing at church, so we watched the Turning Point thing. But I went home and watched a little bit of it because I recorded because I had to see. It was like watching a train wreck, and man, you didn't have to pay for a lap dance. If that's how they dance in Puerto Rico, come on, man. It was very, very, very odd. Very odd. Yeah. And plus, the guy can't sing. I don't know where everybody thinks this guy's got this great voice. He can't sing. So, but hey, my father said about Robert Plant too. So, so.
All right,
anyway.
Thanks, Marty. Well, the NFL having a Super Bowl halftime show where the performer sings entirely in Spanish and waves other nations' flags is a political statement. So I think Bad Bunny is going to go down in history as the worst halftime show ever.
Can we just replay Whitney Houston over and over on the Jumbotron?
Singing the national anthem? Or back to the band. What instrument did you play, by the way?
Oh, I played flute and saxophone.
Oh, see,
and I played violin too.
I played the French horn.
Oh my gosh, that's a very difficult instrument.
I know, it was very hard.
Very difficult.
And
I tried it. I gave up. I'm like, give me the saxophone.
All right.
They had too many flutists.
Coming up on The Real Story, a Waukegan High School walkout that we mentioned that looked more like a foreign invasion.
Right. We'll have Frank McCormick on. He is a teacher who broke the story, and he taught in Waukegan.
You're listening to The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
RedState.com captures the pulse of grassroots conservatism. Red State staff of contributors are on top of breaking news with stories and analysis that challenge the established agenda. RedState.com educates, motivates, and activates passionate conservatives across America, arming them with the facts that put them ahead of the political curve. No wonder RedState.com is a must-read for elected officials and for citizens who want to make their vote count. RedState.com is the place where influence meets action. Log on to RedState.com today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-366-6161. That's 800-366-6161. 800-366-6161.
Hey, I'm Steve Wyatt, and I want to invite you to the Wyatt Matters show, which airs every Sunday on this station. You can expect lively discussion and heartfelt reflection that will both entertain and inspire you. And if we do it right, maybe deliver some genuine laughter as well. We talk about not only what matters, but also why it matters.
Wyatt Matters. Sunday morning at 6 on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Stay tuned for a special message from Angel Dad Joe Abraham about his daughter Katie.
Put yourself in my shoes. I just spent my first Christmas without Katie. My daughter was murdered by an illegal immigrant Governor Pritzker protected. Imagine her final breaths, knowing that you would have given your life for hers, but you didn't have the chance. Put your child in Katie's shoes. Think of the unfulfilled dreams, the unrealized joys, and the permanent loss. I'm not a political guy, but when politicians unleash violent criminals, we all need to get involved. We can do better, and we must do better. Ted Dabrowski would have protected Katie, and he'll protect your children the way I wish someone had protected mine.
I'm Ted Dabrowski, and I approve this message.
AM 560. The Answer.
You know, I was saying to you during the break, what they needed to add was empty plastic water bottles littered all through the Sugar Kings. They have a bit of a problem with people throwing garbage on the ground. I can't stand that. Every time I go to Puerto Rico, I just want to clean up the island. We did have a Pro Ice Super Bowl ad, if you saw it.
We should talk about that.
They're friends and neighbors, sons, fathers. They're little league coaches and veterans. They're people who love this country. These are Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers. They are removing violent criminals from our streets and neighborhoods. It's dangerous and difficult work. But ICE has one mission: to make America a safer place to live. And that's what they're doing. This is law enforcement. This is ICE.
It's awesome. Let's go to Dan in Salem, Wisconsin. Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Yeah, I just want to say this respectfully. I'm not going to get religious, but I don't watch sports. I just never did. I just never got into it. I'm more of a working man. I got tools when I'm happy, fixing something. But I watched that on YouTube and Facebook, that show at the end of that Bad Bunny. We got to be living in the last days, ladies. This world is going nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, of all the Super Bowl halftimes I've seen, that definitely, hands down, was the worst. That's why we should bring back the marching band.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. You have band competition.
Absolutely. The number one high school band or college band in the country gets to play during the Super Bowl. I think it'd be awesome. People would love it.
I know.
All right. Okay, so you know what? Okay, so you've got a pro ice ad, but I'll tell you what, that is not what happened in Waukegan. Here to join me right now, the man who broke the story, Frank McCormick, former public school teacher in Waukegan, and he broke the story about the student walkout protest at which students hung President Trump in effigy on a cross. Frank, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
So, Frank, first of all, I mean, you're one of those public school teachers who, you know, sat there for 10 years, watched how they were indoctrinating. I know that you wrote in actually one of your Substacks, you wrote that, you know, look, I actually believed in really good education. I was one of those teachers who had bought into everything that we should be doing. And then I got there and I understood that what they were trying to do is just not right. It's maleducation. And so you left. Are you surprised by this? Where did this come from? Who was involved? I personally think administration was, but give us your perspective.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And, you know, I want to be clear, you know, students do have First Amendment rights. No one's disputing that. But when we're talking about taxpayer-funded schools and teachers, you know, they're endorsing and encouraging one political ideology while pretending to be neutral. And while the school has come out and said, you know, oh, it wasn't official, it was student-led, it was student-organized, I just don't buy that because of how I know how schools operate and teachers work. And I even saw, you know, on social media, people that, you know, I'm still friends with on Facebook that still teach in the school, and they were writing about how proud they are of the students. And, you know, I thought when a teacher publicly says, I'm so proud of my students for protesting, that's not neutrality. That's an endorsement. It's one-sided. And, you know, are any teachers, you know, do we have their fingerprints exactly on this? You know, unless you can find them in photos, not necessarily, but I just don't believe it was spontaneous that students did this. You know, they were prepared, they were organized, they had flags, they had supplies all ready to go, and security walked them out.
Yeah, and Frank, they had a chant. Wait, listen. I mean, it's a familiar chant. I'm sure they didn't have to rehearse that. But the fact that they had President Trump's image on a crucifix, you usually don't use crucifixion imagery to portray your enemy. That to me is like a resurrection. What teacher talked
that
them?
He was persecuted?
Wait, hold on.
Trump.
What teacher do you think talked them into putting Trump's image on a cross?
I have no idea. I mean, that right there tells you about the failures of our public education system because, you know, leading with someone who's, you know, being crucified. Obviously, we know that, you know, from the Christian perspective, and this is a mostly Catholic town, too. Hispanic Catholics should know that, you know, the crucifixion was a sign of Jesus being persecuted. And so, you know, we all get that. But I want to say, like, can you imagine if this were a rural school in the country? Imagine if this was a MAGA walkout during the Obama years. And a bunch of white students had American flags with Obama on a cross carrying it. I mean, the nation would be in uproar. They'd be called extremists. There'd be there'd probably be an investigation. The FBI would be there. It's insane.
Well, you put out a post too, and it showed that apparently the Waukegan Police Department was supportive of this effort. In fact, they were leading the parade with a police car. And in the parade, there were a number of American flags spliced on the diagonal with the Guatemalan and the Honduras flag. Like, these people, like, do they not understand that they're in an American schools, that they are in America?
Yeah, I've called it transnationalism. I mean, this is actually what concerns me is that, you know, it's really bad for the social fabric of our country when you have these students and most of these students, the vast majority, probably all of them, are in many cases, you know, first gen, even second gen Americans. They were born here. They're American citizens. They're marching maybe for the grandpa or even their parents, but that they don't identify with the country they were born in, culturally, politically. That they are still, you know, their identity, their politics, their culture is still rooted in another country. That's a serious problem.
So when you look at this, I mean, we agree here, most of our listeners, that school is not for indoctrination. It's for learning math and science. What I mean, we could sit here and complain about it, but what can we do about it? Because you think about it, when we were in school, the only time we ever left class is to practice a tornado drill or a fire drill. I mean, never could I imagine like Miss Zimbaroff or Miss Danielis or whatever your favorite teacher's name was saying, okay, kids, now we're going to get up. And if you want to leave and walk out the door to join a protest, you can do so.
I mean, there were so many kids, they had to know that was going on and nobody prevented it.
They encouraged it.
They encouraged it.
Or did they organize it?
The principal's original email said, I encourage you to be apolitical, but he said this was to staff members, and he said, hey, but by the way, if you choose to participate at the end of the day, that's a personal choice. Like, why would you say that?
And they had police protection, didn't they? Wasn't a patrol car with them the whole way?
They did, and they had school safety officers who were, on the clock, being paid by taxpayers, walking around with them.
Okay, well, part of the problem here, too, is that I guess to some degrees it's really the parents' fault. The fact that the parents are allowing this to happen and their kids to get away with this, it's ridiculous. What the parents should be doing is protesting the entire Waukegan High School. They just lowered the standards for proficiency rates, and even at the lower standards, Waukegan High School, only 23.5% of the students read at grade level, and only 13.6% are at grade level in math. Under the old standards, which were just last year, by the way, remember, Pritzker lowered the proficiency cutoff scores, lowered them. So more students look proficient. Last year, only 10% of the students were proficient in reading, 6% proficient in math. These are failure factories. That's what they are. And you worked there. What did you see? Why do we put up with these failure factors that are spending $24,000 to educate a kid, much of the state money and federal money, and they are failures? That should be the protest march.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what happens is, for many teachers and staff members, is the fact that, they can't find success in doing their job in academics. They turn to politics because it gives them kind of a new purpose and identity and calling. And it's something that they, it's not measurable. You can't measure success, but they feel like, well, if my students are becoming good people, or they're expressing their First Amendment rights, whatever that means, then I'm being successful. So I think in many ways, ironically, this kind of the increased politicization of public education is a direct response to that. Teachers feel like they want to see success, and it's much easier to get students parroting, certain political dogmas than it is to get them reading at grade level. But it's an absolute mess. I mean, when I was there, they despite getting $24,000 per student per year, and I think that's a low number because that doesn't include like operational expenses. It's above like 30. Never had money for books, never had money for basic supplies.
Disgusting.
It's, where did it all go? I'll never forget being in a classroom that was, it was like 101 degrees because there was one window, 30 students packed in, no air conditioning. And the principals, all the administration are sitting in their office, playing solitaire on their computer, some of them in an air-conditioned office. I mean, that's really what a lot of people have to look at, is the bloated administrative bureaucracy of that system.
And it's not ending anytime soon, these walkouts. We just heard that at Round Lake Beach High School, they're walking out right now, anti-ICE. And I wonder if that was motivated because of the Bad Bunny halftime show, because Bad Bunny came out at the Grammys and said, no more ICE, get out ICE. I mean, how much influence do you think he has over this younger generation, especially the Hispanic kids?
It's hard to. I mean, obviously, as a one of the number one pop culture icons in the world, he has a lot of influence, and I think a lot of these things there's a lot of kind of subtle dog whistles being thrown to people. I mean, I saw that halftime show, and they said, "Oh, it was just fun. It was just entertaining. It was just about, it was just celebrating love." And it's like, no. There's political messaging, which I just wish they would own it. I just wish they would come out and say it. Like, you don't say, their argument is, they say, like, love is more powerful than hate. They're not just saying that because they believe it, but because the argument is that we're hateful and they're the party of love.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Frank McCormick, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us on The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson.
sure that you never miss a day of Sean Thompson when you subscribe to the Sean Thompson Show podcast, presented by the Alpha Wealth Group. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts, or search for The Sean Thompson Show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. The FBI says today is the final deadline set by a purported kidnapper for Savannah Guthrie and her siblings to pay a ransom to get their mom back.
No confirmation yet on whether the family has paid that reported $6 million. There's this septic tank that was searched this weekend as well. On Sunday afternoon, investigators used a long pole to probe inside. They were focused here for about an hour in the back of Nancy's property.
That's Fox's Alicia Acuna. Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell pleaded the fifth in response to every question asked during a House Oversight Committee deposition regarding Jeffrey Epstein. Texas Democrat Jasmine Crockett.
She has no remorse. She is not seeking to bring about some kind of closure for these women. She doesn't care.
Today, the DOJ began allowing members of Congress to review unredacted versions of the documents. America's listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
This afternoon will be partly sunny with a high of 39. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low of 35. Tomorrow will bring times of clouds and sun, reaching a high of 43. Wednesday will be partly sunny with a high of 37. Thursday is set to be mainly cloudy with a high of 37. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then they help you do more with it. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Ever wonder if what you see in nature is almost too perfect to be random? Jeff Tischler's new book, Nature's Believe It or Not, available on Etsy and as an ebook on Amazon, pulls back the curtain on some of the most stunning and obscure details hidden in the world around us. This is the sequel to his 5-star rated High Tech versus Highest Tech. And it goes even deeper. From the tiniest insect to the vast cosmos, Jeff reveals nature's secrets in a way that's beautifully illustrated, concisely written, and impossible to put down. You'll laugh out loud at Jeff's conversational style. But fair warning, by the end, you might find yourself in tears. Because this isn't just a book about nature, it's about faith. About seeing the extraordinary design and creation and asking yourself, what do I really believe? Jeff spent years in missions around the world, and every penny from this book goes right back to that work. Nature's Believe It or Not, available now on Etsy and Amazon. Whether you're 8 or 80, this book might just change how you see everything.
If you owe the IRS or state $10,000 or more, the stress can feel crushing. You may even worry about getting misled by big national tax companies that care more about quotas than people. That's exactly why ClearPath Tax Strategies exists. We're local, not some 800 number 3 states away. We're an independent team of experienced CPAs and attorneys who share your conservative values and believe that every tax problem has a real solution, one that works for you. We will fight to get you the lowest possible settlement, but nothing changes until you take the first step. Schedule your free consultation today and finally understand your options. Call 262-786-4442. That's 262-786-4442 or visit cptstrategies.com. ClearPath Tax Strategies. No judgment, just results. Take back your future and get the IRS and state off your back.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Goldilocks, offering smart security systems to homes and businesses. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, before we go to our next guest, because we want to know what's next for those two Hispanic Border Patrol agents who were involved in the death of Alex Preddy. Let's take some of your phone calls real quick. Let's go to Ron on the south side. You're on The Real Story. Good morning, Ron.
Yes, good morning, ladies. Well, here's the thing with those students. They're protesting the wrong thing. Your guest just said they didn't have books. Sure, they don't have computers. They should be protesting against a system that is doing a disservice to them. They're not proficient in math, reading, or science. Therefore, they are not going to be able to compete. And lastly, it's a public school system, so their parents are paying taxes and getting ripped off. That's what they should be protesting. So you all have a good day.
We agree. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. All right, meanwhile, in Minneapolis, guess what happened over the weekend? Minnesota police are unleashed. They're charging at leftist outsiders outside a federal building where ICE agents are. Tons of arrests were made. This was the scene outside that building.
You are under arrest. Be seated where you are and follow the directions of officers. You are under arrest. Be seated where you are and follow the directions of officers.
You guys attacked me, and one of your sheriffs punched me in the for no reason. I was backing up, he punched me in the Y'all are wild. This is crazy.
Fine.
Y'all are nuts. Get a new therapist, because the one you're using ain't working, buddy.
So for months, they weren't able to do anything. No crowd control while
Nothing.
ICE officers, ICE agents, Border Patrol agents were trying to make lawful arrests. And now they're unleashed.
I love it.
I love it.
I think the citizens love it too, quite frankly.
With more on this and much more, let's welcome to the program Paul Perez, National Border Patrol Council President. Good morning, Mr. Perez. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I don't want to say their names. I mean, their names are out there, but those two Hispanic Border Patrol agents, are they in hiding, and what's next for them?
No, they're not in hiding. You know, there's an administrative process that takes place. You know, there's an investigation ongoing, and this is no different than any other deadly use of force in which agents or officers are engaged in. They're placed on administrative leave, and then they're allowed to, continue working while the investigation is undergoing its process. And so these two gentlemen are back, doing their jobs, and they'll continue to do so.
Where were they based out of? I mean, were they brought into Minneapolis just to make these arrests?
Yeah, they were detailed up there to Minneapolis. You know, we have agents from around the country that were detailed up there, agents and officers that were detailed up there to help out in Minneapolis. But not only in Minneapolis, we've got people in Portland, Chicago. We've got people all over the country.
Now, President Trump was recently on with Tom Yamas. They did the Super Bowl interview. It was a long, extensive interview where they, rolled out different bites over the last 2 days. And Tom Yamas asked President Trump about Renee Good, about Alex Preddy, and he said it was a sad situation, and he didn't like what happened. So, what is your response to that?
Yeah, of course, it was totally preventable, because what you were talking about earlier, if the Minneapolis police, the state police, were allowed to do their job, they both would probably be alive today, because they wouldn't have been given the opportunity to interfere or impede with the ongoing lawful law enforcement actions that were taking place. And so I'm glad that they've stepped up now. I'm glad that the governor and the mayor have come to terms and have allowed, the discussions with Tom Homan to take place and allow us to withdraw the amount of federal officers that we have there in Minneapolis. But I think if the actions would have taken place before, these two people would probably be alive today. But unfortunately, you know, they put themselves in the situation that they put themselves in. I stand behind our agents and officers. They did what they felt they needed to do. And, you know, while the investigation plays itself out, you know, we're going to stand by them.
And you're going to obviously keep taking criminal illegals off the street. And so where are you finding even more success?
Yeah, so nothing changes about what we're doing. We're still going to go after the worst of the worst. We're still doing targeted enforcement operations. We're not surrendering, as some people have indicated. We're just doing we're taking a measured approach. You know, the fact that we can use law enforcement locally and state to help us out and make sure that there is no more impeding and interfering, although it's still happening, not to the degree it was. We're going to continue going after these people. We've got millions of targets around the country. Minneapolis is like any other city. Under the Biden administration, the chaos that occurred at the border allowed millions of people to come in unvetted and disperse throughout the country. So we're going after the people in Minneapolis, but we're also focusing on other states and cities across the country.
So what happened to those 700 Border Patrol agents that were released from Minneapolis, St. Paul area? What other cities were they sent to, or did they go back to their base?
No, they went back to their stations. They went back to their home duty stations. And again, they're located throughout the Southwest and the northern border. You know, we've got agents all over the country, and so they went back to their home stations. None of those went to other operations.
As far as the northern border is concerned, we don't talk about that much, but where are the problem sites when it comes to the northern border? And is there much going on up there, or is that really just not an issue?
You know, it's an issue because of the lax immigration laws that Canada has.
Okay.
You know, you can fly into Canada from almost anywhere in the world and then make that attempt to try and enter into the country illegally. Thankfully, we've got the technology, we've got the infrastructure, we've got the agents up on the northern border that are able to do their job now, whereas prior to the Trump administration, they were pulled off the line to simply process. And now they're able to be out there. We've got a good grasp of what's going on both the Southwest and the northern border. And so because of the immigration laws that are lax, it is something that we keep our eye on. And we're going to continue to maintain a forward posture up there.
So how? Oh, yeah.
Oh, and we're continuing to also build the wall down on the southern border. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The wall's going up, you know. Day by day, we're putting more and more wall up. We're very confident, extremely confident by the end of the Trump administration. Before the end of the Trump administration, we're going to have the wall up everywhere that we needed it, everywhere that Trump promised it was going to be. We're very confident that it's going to be done by the time his administration is over.
Now, how has day-to-day border enforcement changed over the last 4 years or even the last year since Trump's been in office?
Well, I can tell you, look, I've been doing this job almost 29 years, and it's never been an enforcement-minded policy that we have now. It's never been as good as it is. So what we did under the Biden administration was essentially raise the white flag. You know, the Biden administration, his DHS, they raised the white flag. They said, anybody that comes in, we're going to allow them to come in. We're not going to deter. We're going to simply process them, facilitate their entry into the country, and release them. And so what we've got now, I mean, immediately, day one, hour one, we were able to take the cuffs off, reassess our posture, and put our agents back on the line doing the job that they swore to do, which was protect this country from anybody trying to enter illegally.
So that's interesting because 29 years, that means Clinton, Bush 2, Obama, Trump 1, Biden, Trump 2. You have a long history of this. And, you know,
5 presidents, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, and like Obama, better fences and better security along our borders should help stem some of the tide of illegal immigration in this country. Hillary Clinton, I am, you know, adamantly against illegal immigrants. We can do more and we can do better. Yeah, Chuck Schumer. People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally. You've seen a sea change.
I heard all of their speeches. Being in the uniform, I've worn a uniform my entire adult life. I was in the military before this. So, I heard the speeches, I heard the rhetoric, I heard the promises made. The only president that has actually followed through on securing the border is President Trump. No other president has come even close. Yes, while Obama was known as the deporter-in-chief, the irony of the situation is he was using the same policies and the same laws that President Trump is using right now. And nobody called him racist. There were no protests. There was no, rioting going on. And he removed a lot of people. Now, President Trump is going to do a lot more. He's going after everybody. He's not going after, we're not turning a blind eye to people that are illegally in this country. We're targeting specific individuals that have criminal histories. But if we come across anybody that's illegal, we're not turning a blind eye. They're going, they're getting taken into custody and they're being removed and deported as well. Because, again, President Trump is the only president that has followed through. He said he was going to launch the largest deportation effort in the history of this country. He's done so. And so, yeah, while I've worked under these presidents, I've heard them, but President Trump is the only one that has followed through and kept his promise to America to keep this country safe and make America great again.
I want to go back to the day that Alex Preddy was shot. Can you walk us through exactly what happened? Because you can watch that video 8 different times and come up with 2 different opinions on what might have happened. Was he trying to help the woman who was thrown to the ground, who was trying to interrupt Border Patrol agents?
That's unknown, and that'll come out during the investigation. The investigators will talk to every agent that was there. They'll talk to every officer. They'll look at body cam footage. They'll look at video surveillance. They'll look at the videos that were taken by bystanders. But what I can tell you, based on my experience, Alex Preddy should have never been there. He should have never gotten involved in an ongoing law enforcement action. I mean, you don't do this. Law-abiding citizens don't get involved in an ongoing law enforcement action. If you see a warrant being served next door, you're not going to go stand in the front yard of your neighbor's house and start videoing. You're going to stay out of the way. And if you try to interfere, people are going to keep you out because it's the safe thing to do. Not as only is it safe for you, but it's safe for our officers. The fact that he was armed, look, a lot of people have made comments about the fact that he was armed, and he may have been legally authorized to do so. But knowing that you're armed and interjecting yourself, impeding or interfering with a law enforcement action when you know agents are armed as well, it's a dangerous situation. Unfortunately, he placed himself in that situation. But again, it's hard to tell what he was doing. I wasn't there, the people that were, they're going to give their statements and they'll draw from the investigation the facts of what actually happened. But I can tell you it was a situation that was totally avoidable. He should have never interjected himself into that law enforcement action.
Do you think, does your gut feeling tell you that they will be charged?
Look, I believe that they were justified. I believe that everything they did was based on their training, and at the end, they're going to be justified. It's an unfortunate situation. I don't know what's going to happen with the state of Minneapolis, state of Minnesota, the city of Minneapolis. I don't know. It's very disconcerting that politics is going to play a big role into whether or not they get charged. And, fortunately, we are in a situation where we're able to defend our agents. His legal defense will be totally funded by our organization, but we don't want it to get there, obviously. We are cautiously optimistic that, everything will go the way it should.
And what do you think about Democrats' rhetoric? How did they fuel the fire, so to speak?
It's 100% caused by the rhetoric. I mean, look, you're comparing us, our agents, to the worst people in the history of the world, the Nazis, people that committed atrocious crimes. And when they compare us, to those Nazis and they try to state, they make false claims about what our agents and officers are doing. We're not going after U.S. citizens. We're not kidnapping people. We're not disappearing people, as they say. That causes this dangerous rhetoric. It gives these people a reason to believe that this is going on because it's coming from the media. And so I think the rhetoric has definitely caused the public to vilify our agents and go out there and think that they're doing a good thing by interfering and interjecting. They think that they're protecting people. What they're doing is making it harder for us to remove these criminal aliens who have committed robberies, rapes, murders, aggravated assaults. There's pedophiles. We're trying to get these people out of the country, and they're interfering with us. They're stopping us from being able to do that successfully.
All right, that's Paul Perez, National Border Patrol Council President. Mr. Perez, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, we'll take your phone calls, plus why a lot of us were cheering for the New England Patriots quarterback. We'll explain.
Don't believe the official narrative? You've got the real story on AM 560, The Answer.
Sean Thompson here, and with me today is my friend Dr. Michael Huber, who is one of the creators and developers of Virago. So, Dr. Huber, why don't you tell us what Virago is, what inspired you to create it, and the benefits of it?
I created Virago with 23 natural ingredients that work together to create this immune response in the body. I created it to fight viruses in the beginning, and it's turned into a huge immune booster in a liquid form.
Right, and why a liquid versus a pill?
A liquid provides a rapid response time in the body, and it's optimal for absorption. When you swish it and it's in your mouth, stimulating the bitter taste receptors, you get a rapid response. Like within 15 minutes, you can have a decongestion in your nose.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. And now you can order a bottle at myvirago.com. Myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Virago and Maha.
Maha starts with Virago.
Making America healthy again.
On Salem News Channel, principled voices are shaping today's conversation. Scott Jennings brings clarity to the toughest debates. Josh Hammer's blistering commentary puts politics and culture on trial. And Alex Marlowe's insight connects us to what matters most. Watch anytime on Samsung TV Plus, Pluto TV, or find us on your screen at snc.tv. 3 new shows, 1 powerful lineup. Salem News Channel, across America.
To commemorate President's Day, Hasseless Mattress is offering Washington Monument-size savings on select Beauty Rest, plus a $100 instant cash discount, a $100 MasterCard's cash card, a free adjustable base, free delivery and setup, and 24-month free financing with approved credit. I won't beat around the bush. You can't afford to miss out. Enjoy presidential savings on select Beauty Rest through February 22nd at Hasseless Mattress. Hasseless.com.
AM 560, The
Answer. Welcome back. Thanks for joining Amy and I. Hey, just to clean up on the Border Patrol discussion, I want to make sure that people are aware that the Democrats in Springfield are all in to protect citizens or illegals, rather, instead of Border Patrol and ICE. Not only is Mayor Brandon Johnson, of course, his executive order is going nowhere because Eileen O'Malley Burke, whatever her name is, has said that it's going nowhere at this point. But there's other legislation that they've already filed, like SB 2809. It creates the Operation Midway Blitz Recovery Fund. It's a special fund in the state treasury, $10 million to receive and disperse funds to community-based organizations. Those are nonprofit NGOs that are bogus, to provide mental health services and mobilize rapid response networks for Illinois residents affected by immigration enforcement activities. So if you're out there protesting, here's a $10 million fund for your mental health and anything else that might happen to you. Like maybe you lose your job because you get arrested, who knows? And then they have this other bill, too, that it says that no ICE agents can be present near polling places. So what are they worried about, Amy? That illegals going to show up and vote?
That's what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. And they always say that, no ICE agents in schools. ICE agents and Border Patrol agents don't go into schools. They don't. They never have. 312-642-5600. Let's go to Stephen in Hammond, Indiana, with some news. Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for taking my phone call. This is all a shock that it happened about 45 minutes ago. I was normal teaching day. I'm an instructor. I teach social studies. And last night, I'm looking at the principal's email. She sent out an email to the faculty saying that she would like to inform you that we have received information indicating that a student walkout may take place at our high school on February 9th. So during fourth hour, I asked the student why. The principal did not explain what it's about. Okay, so I was curious. So I asked the student, fourth hour, are you going to do the walkout? What's it all about? She said, "Oh, Mr. Arme, it's all about ice." I'm like, "Really?" And then she said, "Aren't you going to join us?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. And then she said, "Well, aren't you against ICE?" And I said, "No, ICE is simply enforcing federal law and arresting illegal aliens." And that was the word that a handful of students walked out of my class. Next thing I know, about 40 minutes later, in walks the principal and vice principal telling me I've been placed on administrative leave. Okay, so I'm at home now. I'm at home.
And what was the rhetoric what they used? What did they tell you? Because when they walked into your class and said you're on administrative leave.
Well, first they asked if I wanted union representation. I said no. And then, they said, "Well, Mr. Arme, you've been placed on administrative leave," and I knew what it was probably about. And she said that I added in the term, "Well, ICE is cleaning up Biden's mess," which I probably did say, but I don't remember that part. But I knew that once they got upset that I used the term illegal alien and walked out, I knew, okay, this is, I've outraged some students. And I quickly, this is the thing, I quickly went to the internet and printed off, this is called an issue brief from FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, and it's entitled "Why Illegal Alien is the Correct Term." And the second paragraph, it cites the Immigration Reform and Control Act federally codified the term illegal alien. So I don't know, maybe they put me on administrative leave to protect me because the walkout is going to take place in about 40 minutes. And the principal said that they got phone calls from parents and parents were coming down to the building. So maybe they pulled me out of the building to protect me. I don't know, but I'm at home on administrative leave.
Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being one of those social studies teachers who's teaching truth. Because we have a social studies teacher at my local high school. He's got the pansexual flag at the front of the room and the American flag at the back of the room. And he's forcing kids to look at that indoctrination every single day just to take notes off the blackboard. Thank you so much for
and Steve, we're going to get your phone number because we want to. I'm going to put you on hold here.
Yeah,
we definitely want to follow up with you. So thank you so much. And I know it's oh
my gosh,
tumultuous times. I mean, it's your livelihood.
We stand with you.
It's not only your passion, but it's your livelihood too. So just stay strong, okay?
Okay, no worries.
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you so much.
Oh, that is. I mean, I'm not surprised. And they're walking out right now. I wonder how many parents in Hammond, I wonder how many parents in Hammond, Indiana, know that their kids at Hammond Central High School know that their kids are walking out right now.
Well, I'm wondering which side are they supporting, these parents?
That's true.
Because you don't know. He says parents are coming to the school. What for?
Yeah. Let's go to Michael real quick on the south side. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Jimmy. Thank you for taking my call. I have two quick thoughts about the halftime show, the Super Bowl halftime show. One, I think it's really weird that it's allegedly racist to have an alternative halftime show, but it's okay to have the alternative national anthem performed at the Super Bowl. I don't get it. And also, I get the funny feeling that a lot of the positive reviews for the show were done ahead of time. They all read the same, so I think they were all done ahead of time with approval from the NFL.
Oh, no, I know. Like CNN saying it's the most American patriotic halftime show of all time.
How can you say that?
Please. All right, thank you so much for making us part of your morning, part of your lives. The Real Show with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson. We're back here tomorrow at 11 a.m.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
Hey, you've got to get your heart healthy scan ×2. It's non-invasive and takes just a few minutes to do your first scan, and then your